Hi, my name is Catherine Bailey, and I am a children's book author down here in sunny Florida. And today I'm talking to you over the video because, well, number one, because COVID, we can't do these things in person anymore right now. But number two, I wrote a new book, and I'm so excited to share it with you. It is called Dinos Don't Do Yoga. And it is a picture book, and the intended age, well, if you ask me who it's written for, I would say anybody. But technically it's a picture book, so we say it is for ages 3 to 8. And it's especially for anybody who likes dinosaurs and or maybe yoga. And what I'd like to do with you guys for about the next 20 minutes or so is I'd like to talk to you about why I wrote this book, and then I'd like to read you the book, and I'd like to do a little craft with you. I love crafts. You can tell I'm sitting here in my kids' playroom where we craft a lot. And then I actually have some questions and answers here. People sent in questions, so I'd like to answer those. And we'll see what else we have time for today. But let's begin by talking about how I got inspired to write this book, Dinos Don't Do Yoga. Now this is a picture book, so of course it's mainly intended for children, although I think adults will like it too. And I decided to write a book about dinosaurs because of my kid. Specifically my big kid, my 43-year-old husband, who's like my big kid. He is obsessed with dinosaurs, particularly T-Rexes. Actually, when we got married, most of our wedding gifts were T-Rex related. T-Rex plates, T-Rex sculptures, T-Rex pictures, T-Rex towels. Anyway, we have a lot of T-Rex stuff in the house. So obviously if I was gonna write a dinosaur book for my big kid, it'd be about T-Rexes. And then I was also inspired by my actual children. I have 2 little girls and they love to read. And they're kind of moving on into chapter books and whatnot, but they'll still read a picture book if it's funny. So I decided I would try and write a funny picture book about dinosaurs. And I threw in yoga because while I am no yogi, I thought, well, I'm not really good at trying new things, particularly yoga, so why don't I try something new and write it in this book? Because that's, as you'll see, one of the themes in the book is trying things that maybe are new to us and seeing how that can be a little bit of a challenge. So that is sort of the inspiration behind the book. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to dive in and read it to you. And just a quick note, because I can't be there in person with you guys, thanks COVID, when I record the book, it may be showing up to you in reverse, but I still really want to show you guys the pictures. So just use your imagination if the video isn't transmitting exactly how we'd like it. So let's begin. Dinos Don't Do Yoga, written by Catherine Bailey and illustrated by Alex Wilmore. Oh, and here's a fun fact. I only write the words for my books. I'm not talented enough to do the artwork, even though I do love crafting. So the publisher, Sounds True, hires really talented people to make their books. And this Alex guy, even though I'm down here in sunny Florida, he's way over in the UK. And I always just think that's so interesting how 2 people can work together even on different sides of the world. So let's see how Alex interpreted my words in Dinos Don't Do Yoga. I'm gonna make some room here. Okay, we're gonna open it up, and one of the first things that I wanna do is show you something kind of fun. We have one of our characters here. You'll learn his name is Sam, but check this out. Hiding behind the book flap is Rex. And look at him. Does he look happy right now? Well, it's the start of the story, and he's a bit grumpy, so no, he's not very happy right now. Let's begin again. Let's see, Dinos Don't Do Yoga. Again, written by Catherine Bailey, me, and illustrated by Alex Wilmore, way over there in the UK. This was Rex's Valley, and everything in Rex's Valley was roar and rumble rough, and talon tearing tough. Even the plants. Oh, that little kitty better watch his tail. That is until Sam, the Yogasaur, moved in. Rex's ferocious friends could not decide if they liked the new dinosaur. Look, they're watching him. They're kind of spying on him. So, Rex decided for them. Dinos don't do yoga. Dinos rage and stomp. Dinos are like me. Dinos chase and jump. Well, that sounds about right. What we know of dinos, they're kind of tough guys. Oh, but Sam did not mind. No, that didn't faze Sam the Yogasaur at all. Instead, he showed the ground sloths how to plank. For some reason, this annoyed Rex even more. Look how annoyed he is. Have you ever been annoyed? I've been annoyed. I think I make this face. You'll never see a dino wearing yoga pants, standing on a mat, mumbling silly chants. Spinosaurus snickered, Allosaurus agreed, and Iguanodon, well, he paused. My neck is in knots, so I'd like to try, maybe just once, the butterfly. Anybody know what that is? That's a yoga pose. Kind of look like a butterfly when you do it. Rex stormed off, and all of his brutish buddies followed. Well, not all of them. Let's see what happens in this picture. Here we have Rex and his buddies are behind him. Well, look, his buddies are gone. Let's see what happened. Suddenly, Rex realized he was alone. And he didn't feel quite so tough anymore. Then things went from bad to worse. What do you think Rex sees? Why did all of his friends left? How can it get any worse? Namaste. Oh no. Rex sees all of his friends and they're not with him. They're with Sam, the sworn enemy. Betrayed and dismayed, Rex was so angry he could not see straight. Which explains why he tripped over that bone and slid down that crater and rolled into that tar pit. Oh, that's not good. Rex is not having a good day. All the dinosaurs rushed to help. Rex, buddy, are you okay? We know you've had a rocky day. Everyone started talking. I need to align my spines. The biting, the brawling, the maiming, the mauling, it takes a toll. These dino thighs like exercise. Years of tussles tore my muscles. I busted my back on that last attack. These poor dinos are tore up. Being rough and tumble kind of takes a toll, right? Kind of makes you sore. Rex roared, "That's enough!" Then he exhaled a teensy huff. Wow. Poor Rex. I can't do yoga. Not one pose. I can't even sniff. Wipe my nose. My jaws are deadly. My tail is spiny. My arms are strong, but also tiny. Poor Rex. I think we're getting to know the real reason why he doesn't like yoga. Sam stepped forward. It's okay. Don't feel blue. It's tough to learn something new. Let's get you in your dino groove. I think I know the perfect move. That's really nice of Sam. Then the Yogasaur taught everyone, the Tyrannosaurus, stretch. Ooh, that feels good. Right? Because there's a yoga move for everybody, even a tiny grumpy T-Rex. All the dinos loved it, especially Rex. Let's see what he says. Listen, Sam, I was wrong. You did something very strong. You were kind when I was rude, and that makes you one tough dude. Bum, bum, bum. And then remember in the story how we saw the characters, but they weren't really getting along, right? On those open pages, we had T-Rex kind of hiding and being grumpy over here. Well, look what happens by the end of the book. They're hanging out. They're being friends. And there you go. And that right there is my latest, greatest book, Dinos Don't Do Yoga, from Sounds True Publishing. And what's so funny about this book is I wrote it before all this mad, crazy pandemic stuff. So when I wrote it, I wasn't really thinking that so many of us would be stuck at home and not able to maybe go to school or go out like we do or see our friends. And I love it actually that this book did come out during COVID, because this can be such an interactive, fun book. It's fun to read back and forth. You can have kids, I'm talking to you can have them act it out as a play. And of course, because we're talking yoga, you can tie it into doing yoga poses. So even though I never thought it would happen that we'd all be stuck at home reading books by ourselves, I love this book in particular for being at home because you can be interactive with it, and it can take up more than just a couple minutes of reading. You can actually turn it into whole activities and Googling yoga moves and trying to imagine how dinosaurs would really do yoga and things like that. So it's just kind of crazy how the world turned out, that when I wrote it, I thought, oh, it'll just be a quick little read aloud. But I've had so many people read it and say, oh my gosh, we actually turned it into like a half an hour of activity doing yoga and stuff like that. And speaking of doing activities, one of the things that I mentioned that I'd like to do with you guys, right down here, is a craft. And I will confess, I cheated and kind of pre-did some of it. But if you like to do crafts and you're looking for something to do while you're at home, go onto my website, CatherineBaileyBooks.com, or the Sounds True Publishing site, and there should be posted a craft, a puppet craft. And if you don't mind waiting a little bit, soon there will be a whole story time kit with coloring sheets and more crafts and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you go online, or if you go to my website and get my email address and email me, I'll send you one of these for free. And it is how to make your very own dinosaur puppet. So basically what you have is a sheet with instructions. And the first step that it tells us to do is you print the page. Well, that's easy. And if you don't have a printer, maybe your local library can print it, or again, if you email me, I'll probably be happy to send you a copy. And then, it says to color the dinosaur. And I do think that's very important, to color your dinosaur before you cut him out. Because if you cut him out and then you try and color him, your marker might go off on the table and everything. So what I did is I colored first, and then I cut the dinosaurs out. And I didn't cut him out exactly perfect. I left a little border around him, because it's kind of hard to cut out all these little nubbly bits. But there you go. And yes, I totally stole some of my kids' craft supplies. But they're actually able to go to school in person, so they don't know. So shh, don't tell them that I borrowed their arts and crafts stuff. So anyway, I color the dinosaur. I cut out the dinosaur. Then I take a clothespin, just like this. You have these at home. And I put glue on this part of it. Not the part where your fingers are, no. On the grippy part up here. And then, after I've taken my dinosaur, and I put glue on my clip so it's getting a little bit tacky and sticky, I'm actually gonna take my dinosaur. Don't worry, this doesn't hurt. He's paper, he's not real. He can't feel it. And I'm gonna cut off his head, well, part of his head. And I cut him right along that dotted line. And as you can imagine, you then stick one part on the top, just like I did here with the Rex, and one part on the bottom. And he just kind of hangs off there on the bottom. And boom, there you go. You will have a Rex and Sam puppet. And what's so cool is they face each other, so they can kind of like talk and have like little interactions. And don't feel like you have to color it like I did. The cool thing is to color it and design your own dinosaur, because no two dinosaurs are probably exactly alike. So it's fun to be creative with it. So that's a little craft that, again, you can get by contacting me through my website. I think Sounds True, the publisher, is going to post it on their website. And if you keep coming back, we're going to keep adding content, more videos, more storytime kits, discussion questions, and all that fun stuff. I don't know that it's quite up to date, though, but it will be soon. So there you go. I've talked about how I got inspired to write the book. I read you the book, which may have appeared backwards on your screen. And if so, I'm sorry. I hope you used your imagination to picture it the right way. And then we did a craft together, and that was kind of cool. But one more thing that I want to do before I go, in addition to answering the questions that you guys so nicely sent me, is I want to talk about some of the themes in the book. And themes is just a fancy word for sort of like the message in the book, or like some of the lessons I hope you guys pick up on. And for me, there's 2 or 3. And the most important one to me is persistence. Persistence. And that basically means that it can be really hard to try something new, and it may make you a little grumpy, and you may fall into a tar pit. I don't know where you live. But if you keep trying, eventually you will find a way, you will find a way to learn that new thing. And that applies to, hey, this is my cat, Chloe. That, that applies to, pardon me for just a moment, I think she wants to hear the themes of the book. Do you want to hear? Okay, you listen from over there. You know, photobomb, what are you gonna do? So if you are learning to play soccer, if you are learning multiplication, if you're learning any new thing, don't quit, don't give up, just keep trying. It's totally normal to feel grumpy and not happy with struggling with a new challenge, but do not quit. Can I tell you, it took me about 3 years to write a book and get published. And if I had quit after 1 year, I would never have met Rex and Sam. So that's one of the big themes from the book, is that we really, really have to make sure that if we're trying something new, we don't quit, we be persistent. And then another really important theme, I don't know if you noticed, but Rex is kind of a jerk. He's really mean in the beginning. He does a little bit of name calling. He tries to get his friends not to be nice to the new guy. That's bullying behavior. That's really not cool, like super uncool. And you know, as you go through your life, you may get bullied, you may be the bully. The important thing is to remember that that's not how you make friends. That's not kind, and that's not how we want to be, right? And if you encounter a bully, there's a good chance that it's not really about you. It's about that other person or that other kid not feeling good about themselves. And it's hard to be kind in the face of somebody being mean to you. We're seeing a lot of that in this world. Everybody's so stressed out with all this COVID and stuff. But just remember that kindness always wins. So whether you feel like you want to be mean or somebody's being mean to you, the answer is always going to be to turn the other cheek, to open your heart and your mind, and to be as kind as you can. That's not always easy, but we try, right? We're not perfect, but we try. So persistence and kindness, anti-bullying, these are major components of the book. And then, of course, there's the theme of yoga. And if you were wondering, yeah, no, I'm really bad at yoga. I'm actually horrible at yoga. And when I first tried it, I really did not like it. I think I was very much like Rex in this, where I did not like it and I thought it was silly. But the more I tried, the slightly better I got. And now I actually do enjoy it, even though I am still not very good at it. So those are just some of the themes and interesting things behind the book. In addition to talking about these themes, one of the other things I wanted to do was to go through, people sent me questions. So I'd like to go through and answer some questions. And keep in mind that if you don't hear a question here, but it pops into your little head and you're like, I really want to know the answer to that. Again, www.catherinebailey.books.com, and my email's on there. And if you email me, I will email you back the answer to whatever question pops in your little reader head, because I like talking to people over the internet, which is a lot of what we're doing now, right? Because of COVID, we're stuck at home. So let's see, here's, what is your favorite dinosaur? Well, I know I should say T-Rex because my husband loves T-Rexes. So I think I'll say T-Rex. You know what, I am gonna say T-Rex is my favorite dinosaur, although there's a lot to choose from. Allosauruses and Brontosauruses and all that good stuff. But I like T-Rexes, and I'll tell you why. T-Rexes have these tiny little arms, but it doesn't hold them back. Well, it held Rex back in the beginning for a minute, but then he got over it, right? He learned how to adjust, right? So I love that Rex overcame this challenge, and that T-Rexes in general never let their tiny little T-Rex arms, you wanna do T-Rex arms with me? Never let those hold them back. And something that you probably can't tell about me on this video, I don't know, but I am only about 4 foot 7 inches, 4 foot 8 inches tall, which when you're a 43-year-old grown-up lady is very short. But I've never really let my height hold me back, and so I kind of, I guess, identify with T-Rexes. Something to keep in mind. If you have something about you that makes you different, it makes you special and shouldn't hold you back. Okay, where did I get the idea for the book? Well, I've talked about this in the beginning, where my husband loved T-Rexes and my kids liked funny books, but generally when I'm writing books, I get ideas from everywhere. Yes, my family inspires me, My crazy pets inspire me, like the cat who decided to totally photobomb us today. She just wants to be famous and be on a video. But I can get ideas from a song I hear on the radio or TV, so ideas come to me from everywhere. But as a writer, what I do professionally to take advantage of those ideas is I write them down. And that means I keep little notepads. I don't have any with me here, but generally I always have a notepad within like a foot reach. I keep them by my bed, I keep them in the car, and I write them all down, and about once a week I try and gather all these little bits of paper and I send myself an email with all the ideas in it. But yeah, they can come from anywhere. The big trick for me and for you, if you ever want to write books, is just remember to kind of gather them and organize them. Otherwise, you might lose those ideas out into the universe, and that would be sad because they could be amazing. You don't want to lose your ideas. All right, how long does it take to write a book? Ooh, it's a good question. So it probably took me 18 months to get this book from an idea to a manuscript where I could sell it. So a manuscript is just when you type up your story and it looks all official and there's no spelling and no grammar errors, like it's perfect. But beyond the spelling and the grammar, it takes a long time, at least for me, to get a story in really good shape. That means I have to rewrite it a lot. It's like if you get homework and they let you correct it, that's kind of me writing a book. It can take me months from when I first write that first draft, the first version of it, to when I rewrite it and fix it and fix it. I changed the character names in this, I changed the setting in this, I had multiple other characters that I cut out. When I first wrote it, the whole thing was in rhyme, but some of that rhyme was really bad, so I had to cut that out. And instead, I don't know if you noticed, but just the dialogue in here is rhyming, so I changed sort of how it sounded when it hit your ear. So this book took me about 18 months, but I've written other books in about a month. So it kind of just depends how fast you get with the revisions. And the more I write, the better I get. Remember persistence, right? We talked about that before. So the more you do something, the more you practice something, the better you get. So don't quit. So my favorite things to talk about is persistence. All right, so there's that one. When did I start writing? Oh goodness, oh Lord Almighty. I started writing when I was just a little kid. I was in elementary school, so I think as soon as I could like put words on a paper or draw pictures, it first for me started with pictures actually. So probably first or second grade, I started trying to write books. But that's not what I did when I first became a grown-up. I loved writing as a hobby, but I actually had a bunch of other jobs. I was an attorney, which was not that fun, but I don't know, moments of it were fun. I worked on sailboats, that was fun. I worked at Cartoon Network, which was like a dream job. I was an intern there in college, so I've had a lot of other jobs, but it wasn't until I had kids of my own and I was home full time and had more time on my hands that I started trying to write books to get published out there where other people could read them. And that was probably about 10 or 11 years ago. So professionally, I've written for 10 years. Not professionally, I've written for like 40 years. There you go. So if you're at home and you want to write, go ahead and start now. It's never too early to start. Oh, okay, on to yoga here. Yoga questions. Favorite yoga pose? Like I said, I'm not really good at yoga. I try. I know it's good for my body, but if I had to pick a yoga pose, it will be the easiest one, and that would be tree pose. Sometimes I fall down. A lot of times I fall out of tree pose. And then there's this other one where you just like lay on the ground kind of at the end. I like that one too. I don't know what that's called. Can you do yoga? We've answered this definitively. Yes, but barely. What is something new that you tried? Well, in addition to trying to get published, I've tried a lot of new things. Most recently, there's a cat again. Look at her. She just can't stay out of this video. Most recently, I have tried to learn how to ride a bike. So a lot of you, and I'm talking to the kids here, probably already know this, but not me. I was never really particularly athletic or into riding bikes or things when I was a kid, but when I got married and had kids of my own that wanted to ride bikes, I sort of had to learn. And just like Rex pitched a fit and like, you know, had little tantrums, I was not very fun to be around when I was learning how to ride a bike. But eventually I figured it out and now I can do it. So that's something new that I recently learned how to do. If you're learning how to ride a bike, I highly recommend you go ahead and do it now as opposed to when you're older. Because when you fall down when you're older, it hurts a lot more. When you're young, you just pop back up. All right, what character do I relate to? more, and why? Oh, I'm so glad this is the last question. Okay. Rex. I'm a Rex all day. It was actually a little bit hard to write parts of this book from the perspective of Sam, the kind-hearted, calm, quiet yogasaur, because I am not that person. I don't know if you can tell by now, 20 odd minutes into my talk here, but I love to talk, I like to make jokes, I am loud, I don't think I'm a bully, but I don't really love trying new things, even though I force myself to do it. So I am hands down this guy, not so much this guy, I'm this guy. So, but again, like we talked about with the themes of the book, trying to write Sam's character, even though it was hard for me, was something I'm really glad that I stuck with, and I did, and I like to think it turned out well. So I identify with Rex, and I identify with the themes of this book, which again, I hope you guys kind of picked up on when we were reading it together, and I hope you do check out the craft that should be up on the website and all the other crafts that are coming too. And I think with that, we're about out of time. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now. I'm gonna go feed that cat who keeps popping up in this video. And I hope to see you guys soon. I hope you enjoy the book. And if you have any questions or wanna reach out to me or tell me your thoughts or ideas or anything like that, www.catherinebailybooks.com. Send me an email. All right, thanks guys, bye.